Bible, you'll find out that God's not too happy with what's going on around us.
Redeem the time, because the days are evil.
The Bible has not changed.
Boldly proclaim the restoration and preservation of Christian values in America.
Satan has brainwashed a whole nation.
As goes the church, so goes the nation.
Nobody's convicted of anything anymore.
And now, here's Last Call with your host, B.J. Edwards.
It's been going on for a long time. Good morning. What am I talking about? Tooth for a tooth. Now free. Like a socialist communist. Morning. Hope you're all doing well this morning. Open panel, good discussions, a lot on the table, folks. A lot on the table. Got to get this out of the road. You're about to listen to 2 hours, possibly, of opinion and entertainment supplied by Last Call Radio. We're not doctors, lawyers, politicians, professional journalists, nor do I hold or Mr. Anderson hold a doctorate degree in anything. Not that would make a difference. Our opinion, of course. We only ask that you as an individual or corporately not take our statements or those that we voice from others personal. That's a chore. Nor do we recommend that you act on them as if they are facts, although they might very well be just that. Well, facts. Again, that's our opinion. You're not required to listen to and act on or repeat anything that you hear today, and that any information or opinion we present is meant for the good of the order and by no means intended to harm or threaten anyone. Hey, follow us on Rumble, folks. Tell your friends about us. We're going to call this Hot Topic Saturday. What do you want to talk about? My goodness. We can talk about most everything. We got data centers coming up. We're from Ohio, so we're supposed to be the capital of data centers, I guess. And boy, you ought to hear the natives. Woo! Both left and right are unified. Well, BJ, that's what you talk about all the time. Yeah. Liberals are unified. Progressives are unified, but yeah, some of it's good, some of it's bad. Oh, wow. China and Russia are competing against us. Why even bother, folks? The end is near and the second coming at hand, right? Just wait. No need to worry. No need to do anything. God has our back. We live in an amoral and unjust nation, folks. What difference does that make in terms of fair elections? If we have them 100% pure, we're still an amoral and unjust nation. And that means we're going to want, that's right, leaders that can do something for us, no matter what the cost is. I don't care if my neighbor loses their home. This needs to be taken care of. And as Americans, we need to do it. Statue of Liberty, right? What makes a country? Borders, oops. Language, whoops. Culture. Ugh. You know where the culture is going, right? Phew, boy. Crazy times. This is where it's going. Downhill. I'm going to bring our panelists in this morning. Betty, Norm.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Good to hear. Hot Topic Saturday. I got some headlines we're going to go over this morning, and we can talk about that. Again, I have such an experience in liberal and progressive sites. And we're going to talk about data centers. I was at a Tea Party meeting, sparsely attended, of course. And they had a gentleman there that's been working for research organizations, conservative. And they talked about data centers. So it's all bad, right? Well, yeah, I guess to start off with, it's been pretty bad. But now because of public opinion, it's turning around. But we need to be very careful that we don't prejudice our future. Look at it. It's tough on water supply, tough on electricity. People are having to pay for that. But as I understand it, and from this meeting, you weren't there, they're going to have to. I think right now, one of the organizations that's coming in recycles their water. And this organization or another is talking about making their own electricity. Now, I'm not going to say this is going to happen, but just imagine a capitalist inventing a new way to generate more electricity than we already have. Right now we have public utilities, right? Public utilities. But if they have a little competition, maybe that'll help. What do you think, folks?
Well, competition's always good.
But it's capitalism, and capitalism is always bad, right?
Well, I've got a little different view. See, I view capitalism as God's plan for prosperity.
Okay, yeah.
And capitalism is explosive. I always think about Mike Lindell. He was selling pillows out of his trunk of his car, and 3 months later, he had 500 employees. And look at all the equipment he had to buy, the buildings he had to lease, and the people that had jobs, and then all those people that got good jobs, then they began to spend their money, and it's just explosive. Where socialism is just the opposite, and frankly, it's just evil.
Yeah, well, it is, because it's thievery.
Right.
You take it from one individual and give it to another. Go ahead.
I look at capitalism as another form of communism. I look at free enterprise as God's plan for prosperity. There's a big difference between the two things. Capitalism is controlled by the government, and in communist countries, they began to discover that they could not sustain themselves without some kind of income. So they began to establish government corporations.
Using capitalist principles?
Using capitalist principles.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that here. I mean, you look at your pharmacy, your pharmaceutical industry here, and your military complex. If we didn't have wars, our government doesn't have an income. It's a dangerous fine line between what you do to earn money and how you do it.
Military industrial complex. There's always temptations, no matter what you do. In communism, it's to concentrate power to one individual, one group.
Am I still here?
Yeah.
Okay. Free enterprise is what Norm was talking about with Mike Lindell. He started a business and he began to build a product, which he was able to hire other people to help him produce the product and market it on his own. That's free enterprise. That's what you do. Capitalists want to shut down competition and write laws and restrictions that keep other people from joining in the game, if you will. And that becomes, you need some kind of restriction sometimes. People will take advantage of things, right? But I think it's a dangerous line when you let the government get involved in our business, so to speak.
We have monopoly laws.
Do those work?
Well, I was going to say that everything we're going to talk about, Kevin, Mr. Anderson, anybody here is people intensive. It's like the voting, that is still people intensive. And when you elect politicians, that is people intensive. And when somebody becomes a capitalist, again, that's people intensive. He who controls the money.
Excuse myself for a moment.
Say again, please. Okay. Anyway, capitalism creates. Communism consumes. And you can only have so much consumption. And as the amount of consumption increases and the amount of goods decreases because you don't have capitalists, then you come to a point where everybody's going to be equal. That'll be equal in misery, equal in not having anything. As bad as capitalists are, and I'm not excusing the greedy. I'm not excusing that. But as bad as capitalism is, what to say? A bad capitalist is better than a great communist. I think that's a fair statement.
Well, I kind of agree with both those gentlemen there, but
Well, I don't know.
I want to say
Is it
something
like
about
saying one evil's better than another?
Mm-hmm. Well, historically, what do we see with regards to both those entities? Historically, we see more good with capitalism or more good with communism? Again, the problem we have, folks, is that we are a immoral and unjust nation. And we'll get back to what I said last week, is that you have the three entities. You have the state, you have the church, and you have the family. Morality is going to begin in the family. Discipline is going to begin in the family. But the problem in America is that you can send a very disciplined and moral child into the government-run indoctrination center, and after 12 years of exposure, they're not going to be what you intended them to be. Is that right, Mr. Teacher?
Well, you're right. You know, they, especially when you go into so-called higher education, I think it lowers the morality rather than raises it. Yeah,
the Supreme Court. Go ahead.
Well, we feed into a system that wants you to think a certain way, and they're whoever you're submitting your kids to are training them to that train of thought, whatever is in place. That's why I like local education and local control rather than federal and state control.
As long as you have unions, can you have local control, Mr. Anderson?
Unions used to be a useful thing. I think when they started, it helped protect people from abuse. But now, no, I don't think unions now have too strong of a lobby and they control what you're going to do in the schools. It's not decided by local people or even the politicians, you know. No, you don't have local control with unions.
Amen. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the union discussion. I want to get into this AI and flock cameras thingy. Man, that's crazy stuff.
Last call with BJ Edwards. Real talk about real life.
Power, go ahead.
I would like to say something too. You know,
Sure.
I worked for the union schools, and they were horrible. They treated me horrible. Because
I don't know who was talking.
Can you hear, Kevin? Because Betty was talking.
I can't hear her.
Okay, everybody else can hear her, right? I can hear her. Norm? Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you a thumbs up, Mr. Anderson, when you can talk. Okay, Betty, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I worked for the union schools, and they were very dangerous to work for. You know, and so when I did 28 years in the military, and one thing about the wars, it's a business. It's a money-making business.
Sure it is.
And innocent soldiers Men and women, fathers, husbands, dads, whatever, are getting killed for nothing. And it's going on now. And one thing we learned about in the military, you don't bomb schools and you don't bomb hospitals. Well, they just bombed a school with 172 girls, a girls' school, and killed every one of them, including the teachers. So, the military has turned destructive too, especially if they're under the rule of Israel.
Betty, where did you hear that? Where did you hear that? And how do you know it's true?
Well, I've seen different reels on it and different
From
articles.
From where?
Just on different podcasts,
I'm being ornery, but folks, one of the biggest industries we have out there is controlling information.
Yes.
Huge industry.
And you have to have discernment. So if you're not sure, you just keep digging and researching and digging and researching, But anyway, I had gone over to Turkey for about 4 months, came back. My son was about 13. And the first thing he said to me, and he didn't say, hello, Mom, I miss you, I love you, whatever. He said, Mom, I don't support our president. And I said, that's fine. That's why we vote him in. So, when you get to vote, you can vote in who you want. Well, Mom, I don't support our country. I don't support our people, and I sure don't support our military. Well, I dang near put them up against the wall because, for one thing, the president, you vote for that, and that's, a people choice. But when it comes to American people and our country and our military, and our people are dying, you better be supporting them. So I went to the school because it was a teacher that was teaching all these kids that, and they were having an attitude against American people. It is wrong. And you know what? I went to the superintendent. They had a meeting with her, and they didn't do nothing. They didn't reprimand her. They didn't do nothing. And she's still teaching that garbage. The thing is, our kids are getting indoctrinated with the wrong things.
A moral, unjust nation.
They're taught to hate our country, our people, our military, and they're supposed to act like dogs and cats or whatever. It's sad. So the unions are very destructive. And I have to agree with Mr. Anderson. Unions started out good, but the wrong people got in and turned it into a disaster.
I got it. Mr. Anderson, comments?
Well, I wish I could comment, but I couldn't hear her comments.
We're talking about public schools and unions.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Betty. She seems to get herself informed and does her research, and I know she visits a lot of people and has discussions, so she's not living in a closet. I don't mean it that way.
Well, no. Maybe we do and maybe we don't. I can remember when there was a certain group of people in a closet, and when they came out, the church went back into the closet to make sure it was occupied. Nature abhors a vacuum. Go ahead.
That seemed like it. I just know in my lifetime I've seen where people are afraid to talk and share ideas, whether they agree or not. You used to share opinions without getting people upset. And now it's like, well, you got to whisper in the grocery line. Well, if you have a grocery line, those have disappeared too, haven't they?
Yeah.
They want to create division amongst the people.
Yeah, you're not waiting for the guy to scan your groceries anymore. You got to scan them and bag them yourself. But yeah, the school system is basically run by the NEA, the National Education Association, and the lobby groups. I'm pretty sure you're going to ask who told you that, but if you look at the Constitution of the United States of America, there's no provision for a Department of Education in that Constitution. In my opinion, that's an illegal office. And I believe more than one president wanted to abolish the Department of Education. I think even Trump at one time talked about it.
Yeah.
But they set the standard now. And, the needs in Stillwell, Oklahoma is not the same as the needs in Columbus, Ohio, as far as education
Great point.
goes, and the kind of businesses that are there and what the children need to learn is more localized. It's not a global program. Business people and industries need people trained to run the businesses and industries in their areas. And they ought to be making decisions about educating their children. Also, the values vary widely across the nation. So, again, if you have different values than the state next door, you ought to be allowed to set those standards as well.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. I when speaking of unions, I went to several, decades worth of school board meetings. And in terms of there is, I would say, Mr. Anderson, there is a unity in schools, and it's basically this: they all teach that life has no meaning. They teach evolution as fact. All of them teach that. They also teach that life has no meaning. Morals are relative. Multiculturalism, diversity. They teach that. They also teach God, man, not God, is the measure of all things. The state is your daddy. And the key that they do with every child, they try to make every child a victim, because if you're a victim, then you're looking for somebody to help you. You don't even know that you're a victim until they tell you you're a victim and how you're a victim. And they'll look for those
help
things.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
Norm, any comments?
I do. If the family had done its job, you wouldn't have a union.
Boom.
Yeah, boy, here we go. Going back to the source.
Boom.
We want to talk about symptoms today, not causes.
Okay.
Great point. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, it's obvious in the Bible the education of the kids was on the parents. Now, I don't believe that it's a sin to send them to school, but it's a sin to send them to school that's teaching them anti-God stuff. And if the parents had, on the other side too, if the parents had taught their kids the ways of God, even if the kids were in a school that was teaching things they shouldn't, the kids would be able to recognize it. So again, it's going to come back to the parents. You can rave
It's
at
I agree, Norm, and it's a fatherless society.
Sure.
If we had our fathers in there, and the fathers that are at home but sitting on their butt watching NFL instead of spending time with their children and teaching them about Jesus and teaching them what's right and the morals and to stand up for our country, you know what? It'd be a different world too.
Yeah.
90,000 people in a football stadium, and you might find 3 or 4 at a school board meeting or a city council meeting. Listen, politics is a participation sport, folks. Well, I'm not going to play. You're already in the game, whether you like it or not. You're already in the game. Your children and your grandchildren are in the game, and they're going to bring something home that you didn't count on, and that you're not inoculated to. There is no shot that can fix what the kids have been through. Our son was having difficulty in public school. One of the biggest mistakes that we made was to put the children in public schools. But I think it was his freshman year. Grades were really going down. And we talked to a counselor. And the counselor said to us, in essence, well, boys will be boys and children will be children. And when your son decides that he wants to learn, he'll do that. I mean, that's what they said to us. My wife and I looked at each other and went, okay. Next school, we put him in a Christian school, and he did well. But keep in mind, by this time, he's a sophomore, and there's already stuff that's indoctrinated into him. But he was almost down to the D and F level at public school. And I think the fourth semester, or wherever it was at the Christian school, he was on the honor roll. And right now he's a president of a company here locally. So he's just, public schools scare me, They are indoctrination centers. And when you're having conversations with people across the fruited plains, it is universal, Mr. Anderson. Yes, the union has done their job. They've made sure that they know that life has no meaning and that they're victims, and that they need to be thinking this and thinking that. If you think you're a woman, you're a woman, whether you have the body for it or not, or a man, or you're oppressed, or you're because of your demographics, you're being discriminated against. Everybody is a victim because politicians listen to the ads. Listen to the ads today. Politicians rely on your victimhood. They want to get them rich capitalists because they're causing all the problems. Just absolutely crazy. What time we got here? Any comments? Yeah,
well, on the capitalism thing, of course, I view capitalism as what Mr. Anderson was talking about, free market. The government is not supposed to be involved in anything other than what God laid out for them. And that's to have a military, have a justice system, and have a monetary policy for the government. And, healthcare was a ministry of the church. Food stamps was a ministry of the church, but the church turned that over to the government, just like parents turn their kids over to the government to train. Parents used to fuss about their kids, and I said, "What in the world do you expect when you turn them over to an ungodly school system? What do you think was going to happen? So."
Yeah, I get into discussions on the internet, and it's feeding children. A local school here is paying for lunches for everybody. Everybody, they're paying for lunches for everybody. And of course, the argument is, well, the kids that are poor, they're kind of embarrassed about what's happening, so we have to do this for everybody. Besides, it's documenting this and taking care of this is a problem. So it's just a lot easier to give it to everyone. This is a course in socialism, folks.
I also wonder what they're feeding them if they all have to eat it, because a lot of the food is lab created.
You're talking about the material food, not the mental food, right? Because we know what they're feeding them mentally.
Yes.
It's it comes with gas.
Yes. Yes.
It's listen to this. America. Supreme Court legalized contraception in 1965. No consequence sex, supposedly. We're going to end abortion. That hasn't happened yet, has it? Pornography in 1916. They legalized pornography. By the way, the Supreme Court is an opinion. They can't legislate. I think Andrew Jackson disagreed with them one time and said, well, okay, see you later. They express opinions. I think our current president is kind of saying something about that. Anyway, pornography, Supreme Court in 1969, abortion in 1973. Wait a minute. We got the pill. How possibly could we have abortion? Homosexuality in 2003, homosexual marriage in 2015.
I don't even want to go there. Last weekend, we have a wedding venue close to us, very close. And I saw these cornholes, and it had the pride rainbow on it. And I'm going, are you serious? So I thought it was illegal to marry same sex in Ohio. So I guess not, because 2 women got married. And believe it or not, there was a lot of people there. It was packed.
More than a school board meeting or a city council meeting?
Yeah, I went to school board meetings. We only had 7 chairs, and I was the only one sitting in it. And it was at 7:00 in the morning, so the parents couldn't come anyway. So it was all part of their agenda.
Wow. Going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk a little bit about what you're talking about, Betty. Got a great article here, incredible article to show where we're at. B.J. Edwards along with Mr. Anderson. This is your last call. Hey, follow us on Rumble. That's an order.
Last call with B.J. Edwards. Real talk about real life.
Here, let me help you.
You folks out there need to listen to me, because you need to be listening to BJ in the last call. Because BJ and Mr. Anderson are trying to save America. Because without change, America is going to fall. See, truth is the only thing that's going to save us. And it's being censored on many platforms. Because truth sees a threat to their agenda. Truth will bring about reforms. Just remember the words Jesus said. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And that applies to all who will believe. And it sure made a transformation in me. Truth will transform anyone who will believe. Because the truth will make a change in your heart. I mean, it'll open blind eyes so you can see. It won't make you perfect, but now it's a start. And you start tuning in on Saturday mornings. You pay attention to what BJ has to say. Then you figure out how you can make a difference. Because you can help America see a brighter day. Now, I'm expecting you to educate yourself and learn some truth. I don't want to hear there's nothing I can do. Your responsibility is to learn truth and then you to share it. Because God's keeping his eye on you. God expects you to fight for the country he gave you. So get up. Let's get to work. We'll help you and we'll pray for you. But just don't you be a lazy jerk.
Boom.
I don't know who that old man is, but you need to listen to him.
What'd you say, Betty?
Boom. That's awesome.
Oh, man. I'm going to read an article.
You don't call him Uncle Wisdom for nothing. He's definitely Uncle Wisdom.
Thanks, man.
Do any of you out there know who Jenna Jameson is and why her fourth marriage is so important? My guess, some of you have likely seen her, not me, but maybe some of you. Anyway, Jenna Jameson is a former porn star who recently married her
I did not know her, believe me.
Some of the guys may have seen her. Recently married her new partner, Mil R. Ocampo, in July. Jameson hard launched her relationship with Ocampo back in March of 2025, just weeks after filing for divorce from Jesse Lawless. Since their relationship began, this is Ocampo and Jameson, Jameson has been candid about their partnership and the positive impact it has had on her life. 2 years ago, I was incredibly defeated. I had no idea how I was going to find happiness again, but God made a way. Former porn star. Now I'm happy and healthy, doing all things I knew I was capable of. I thank Mil for standing by my side and holding one of my hands while Jesus held the other. Jenna said that Mil never once pushed her faith on me. And she, Mil R. Campo, inspired Jenna Jameson to explore her faith. Let me repeat that. And she, Jenna's wife, Mil R. Campo, inspired Jenna Jameson to explore her faith. Jameson also credits Ocampo for bringing her back to Jesus, saying, I think the most beautiful part of her is that she has been a devout Christian the better part of her life. She never once pushed her faith on me. I watched her beautifully worship Jesus, and I felt so incredibly inspired. She added that she found her faith again after meeting Ocampo. Jameson knew she could be honest with Mil R. Campo and greatly appreciated Ocampo, 41, and did not care about her past as an adult star. I didn't bring it up right away, and honestly, it never changed. This is a Jesus gets me thing, isn't it? Isn't that what this is? A Jesus gets me thing?
Is this two women, Mil?
Yes.
I wonder what Bible they were reading.
Well, Milagros has helped me in so many ways. She has given me room to organically find my way to Jesus. She graduated with her bachelor's degree in philosophy, archaeology, and religious studies. She is a decorated military officer. We met through our love for writing. I love her humility and empathy. She also makes me laugh more than anyone I've ever known. My day begins with my love of God, and everything falls into place thereafter, Jameson continued. I focused on gratitude and telling people how much they mean to me every single day. I would agree with that. I'm an early riser, and thankfully so is my partner. We fill our day with exploring new places and taking our dog Tokyo on walks and doing fun activities. The simple life feeds my soul. The blonde beauty raved.
They must be reading the Queen James version.
Only in America. Those commercials, Jesus Gets Us, that's the sort of thing that they're talking about. Anything and everything goes. We'll give you Christianity. We're just going to change the meaning. But you can have Christianity, but we're going to change the meaning. And don't you ever say anything against what we just did. Okay, we won't. We won't. We'll stay in our closet. We'll be kind. Yes, 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 yes.
Let's conform to the world and make it normal. A habit. Yeah. When they see this over and over and again, people start ignoring it because it becomes a norm, and it becomes a habit. And then they just accept it without even accepting it, but they did.
Yep. Sex before marriage, abortion. I think America's in trouble, folks. And the only thing missing is you. You have to engage the culture. Well, what do I do, BJ? Well, let me ask you a question. Out there? Oh yeah, I see a problem over here in the schools. I see a problem with voting. I see a problem with AI, flock cameras. Oh, I'm so upset about that. What are you going to do about it? Well, let me get back with you on that.
Lukewarm.
Yeah, I mean, the church definitely needs to engage the culture, but it's going to be difficult for the church to do that with broken families. The communists knew what they were doing when one of their platforms insisted that we destroy the family. We want no other opinions than what the government tells you to believe. Do not believe your parents. How do you handle that? Floor is open, folks.
It's sad. It's been going on for years. I had senators in my family, and that senator broke up our family. So it's been going on for years, but it's more advanced now than back in the 60s.
I got to take this. Norm, can you hop in there?
I sure can. On the thing with the two women, the thought that came to my mind was, the devil comes as an angel of light.
And what?
And of course we know what he's up to.
Yes.
Steal, kill, and destroy. And I thought of that Rick Grinnell, that's very prominent. And he's been in the Trump administration. I don't know what he's doing now, but he's supposed to be a devout Christian, and his mom, and they're just deceived. I mean, the Bible is so plain about homosexuality that it's an abomination to God, and it's just really sad that they bought into that. And I'm going to go back to the churches. The pastors, quit speaking out against sin, and it's all about prosperity, and God wants you to prosper, and He does. But prosperity without repentance leads to a whole host of other sins. So.
Well, Satan's the author of lies, and God sends a delusion, so they believe a lie.
Right.
And all these churches, like you say, they're lukewarm. They're false teachers. All they want to do is line their pockets up and build bigger buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So people, if they are not born again, and I mean, if you're not transformed and don't know when you were born again, you're transformed instantly. I tell you, once you're transformed, your eyes are open, your ears are open. It's amazing how you look at the world at a different light.
You can see
like
it.
That Jesus light, you know? Yes.
You can see it. Morning, JC. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. All right. You're coming to the end of the program here. I do want to get into the flock cameras and what your thoughts are about that. The headlines I have is cities are ditching flock, immediately replacing it with Axon license plate readers. Gates funded A1 creates 16 never before seen viruses that can copy themselves in the lab. Bitcoin Red Team says AI is finding hundreds of critical exploits across the core projects. And the quitting expert, quit now before AI makes the choice for you. This is a superpower. What do you guys think about artificial intelligence and flock cameras?
Well, I'm against all of them, firstly.
It should be.
So the data centers, and I just saw a reel on this, and it made me think, so I'm going to give you a thought. These data centers aren't really for data, because really, if you think about it, you don't need all these thousands of data centers for all the information, because just think how much our phone holds, it holds a lot of information plus more. So this guy came up, said, maybe it is, and they're taking our electricity to run those data centers and our water. Maybe they're supplying electricity and stuff to the underground cities. So, there is underground cities. They're being supplied by something, and they need electric, they need water. So what is going on? It's just a thought for you to think about.
Well,
But I thought that makes a lot of sense.
explain an underground city?
Well, there's been underground tunnels and underground railroads and underground cities. And there's places where even people have taken videos where they go into mountainside, and they actually got underground cities with stores, with businesses, with offices, with whatever. And eventually, I think it's basically for the elites. If we have a nuclear war or something would happen, they have a place to go to. So that's my personal opinion. But these underground cities, I don't know if you remember Ventura. He ran for governor in Minnesota years ago or whatever. He actually had a video where they went into one of those underground cities, and the semis are in there unloading supplies, and just, it's amazing if you saw some of these videos of people sneaking in there and getting videos. So I don't know. Time will tell. I believe, and I have a friend, they actually hear a train go under their house in Pennsylvania, up by East Liverpool.
Wow.
And they would say, I hear a train. They don't even have a train in their town, but they hear a train and they feel the rumble. It rumbles their house all the time.
Well, I've got news for them about being able to hide from God.
Exactly. Amen. You got it.
Probably not going to happen.
Exactly. But
in the meantime,
remember, Satan's the author of lies, so they're believing that lie that they can run away from whatever.
Right.
I think of 1984 and a combination between that and Brave New World, or Orwell and Huxley, and I'm remembering reading 1984 and what was happening there and how the individuals can be monitored, but they did not know the technology that we have today, and the technology they have today. I think that you can have your phone can be, somebody can listen to what you're saying on your phone. And I think that can be done remotely. That they don't have to put anything in there. That they can do that.
I remember Kim talking about, she would Google something, just information, and 15 minutes later she's getting ads on that product.
Yep.
And I remember a couple of years ago, there was a man and his wife had a big fuss over text, and a few minutes later he starts getting all these divorce lawyer ads. So it's obvious that they're that they're monitoring what we do and say, and course, I'm glad they're monitoring me in a sense. Maybe they'll be convicted over some of their sin.
Yeah, you can witness to them. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll wrap this up in the next 15 minutes. B.J. Edwards, your last call.
Keeping you informed. This is Last Call with B.J. Edwards.
Well, I have to say, and Coach, it's done at least 2 times I know of, but Coach Dave Daubenmeier with Past the Salt Ministry, he was talking one morning, and my speaker in my living room, my TV wasn't even on or anything, says, "Could you please repeat that? I did not understand you." Twice that's not happened to me. So they're listening.
Why am I laughing? Why am I laughing? Do you think that maybe we had some problems last week? Who knows, right? Who knows? There's capabilities out there that we don't know of. And boy, the wrong people are in power.
Yeah. And also with the flock cameras, if you go to deflock, deflock.org and put your zip code in, you can see where all the flock cameras are being installed or are already installed.
Do you see them getting rid of them?
Oh, I love it. Yep. And people are tearing them down. They're spraying them with some kind of I don't know what it is, foam. I don't know if it's foam that they use on concrete or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I also heard that, if you put a piece of duct tape, just very fine duct tape across your license plate, that kind of messes them up because then they can't read it clearly. Yeah. I'm thinking about doing that.
There is something like that. Go ahead. Did somebody
I'll let the gentleman speak.
Well, I want to change the subject to something a few minutes ago about the 2 women. I think God showed me something a few weeks ago about the rainbow flag that they've chosen. I don't think that was a coincidence that they chose that. And I think it's an indictment against their sin. Because why did God destroy the earth to start with? It was over sin, and a lot of it was over sexual sin. So that rainbow flag is a reminder of their sin, and it's an indictment against them.
Mm-hmm.
And that rainbow flag that they have only has 6 colors, but God's has 7.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still deceiving, but it's reminding them,
Right.
And they said a lot of that with you look at a booth where they got the rainbow flags and different stuff they're selling the homos. They interviewed one the other day on Newsmax, and that's what the guy was saying. He said, "Look at all these colors. This attracts little kids. All them little colors, boy, they were stickers and rainbow flags and dolls. That attracts them, and that's why they do it." But to the flock cameras, I think it was Carl Higbie. I don't know if any of you ever watched Carl Higbie on Newsmax.
I watch him.
Oh, he's a stud. That boy, he is a real man. Navy SEAL.
He just needs to turn loose a little bit and tell us how he really feels.
Oh, man, I'm telling you. Matter of fact, the other day, he was helping a neighbor, his farm up in Connecticut. He's got his own sawmill and everything. Neighbor needed a shed built. It was like a 20 by 20 type of shed, lean roof. He went out and helped his neighbor. Said, "Let's build that shed." He went out and cut down trees. They cut down the trees, ran them through his mill. He milled them, made the wood, the 6x6 or 8x8s for this thing. He ended up tearing his bicep completely from the bone on his arm, helping his neighbor for free. He just had Thursday, he had surgery to get it fixed. He was doing his show, and he couldn't even use his left arm. He's still doing his show. He couldn't move that arm. It was ripped from the arm. Had surgery Thursday. He said, "I'll be back Monday." It's like, but he said on the flock cameras, he showed, because he does a Tuesday night, a 2A Tuesday of firearms and stuff, and your right, gun rights, every Tuesday. He said he showed a shooting range. He said, "Now look here at the drive at the very front of this shooting range." It showed on each side of the drive 2 flock cameras tracking people going in and out of the shooting range. He said, "No, why do they have flock cameras at the shooting range? We know why." He lights them up. I like him.
They're not taking license plate numbers there, are they?
Oh, no. They don't want to know who's shooting guns in there.
I want to know if it's illegal to do, if I put a little strip of duct tape across there. Is that illegal? In case someone decides to do that because they heard me. Do you know if it's illegal? What do you think?
They'll probably say it is. BMV.
Yeah. Well, they got those dark covers that they put on license plate where you can't read them.
All you could do is put it on there. You might go 6 months or a year with nobody saying nothing about it, but put it on there. And then if you ever get pulled over, it's like, well, I don't know how that got on there. Just walk back, tear it off. So
there you go. I thought of that too.
Better, what Pastor Bill used to always say, better to ask forgiveness than it is ask permission.
Amen.
That's why he gets in trouble all the time.
You too. Come on.
Yeah.
Fess up.
Oh, I lit him up at the church this morning. I go up every one Saturday a month. This church up the road here gives away free food. So you get a couple boxes of odds and ends, and we'll share it with a few of the neighbors, split it up. And it's not that I need it, but man, it's so fun to sit in that line up there because they'll have 40, 50, 60 cars lined up, 4 or 5 rows. And then I get to chat with some of these guys up there. And I lit the one up today. He even said, "Yeah, I was raised Catholic." I said, "Well, there's a false religion." He looked at me and said, "You're exactly right. That's why I got out of there." Soon we got into putting on the armor and unsheathing the sword and fighting the battles. I said, "When is the church going to wake up, buddy?" I've lit these people up many a times up there. They really don't like talking to me. I've even been inside talking to the pastor after he preached a Sunday morning service with his Cincinnati Bengals jersey on from the pulpit. You know what I mean? They're just idiots. But he didn't argue with me. He listened, and I give him good 10, 15 minutes while I was sitting there in line. He agreed with me on everything and didn't backtalk anything. But that's where it is. I said, all we want to do is feed people and go visit them in the nursing home.
I'm sure there's a lot of people in your city, Jeff, that look forward to running to you during the day.
They love me. They love
the conversation with you, and
they love me. Democrats,
I do.
Democrats in the square. I think I need to get back to the square here soon.
Yes, yeah, folks. You until you get into the game, you have no idea what you're missing. Just in terms of the people you get to talk to, and the truth that you get to share.
Amen.
It's absolutely incredible. It really is. I mean, it's going to be an education for you. You're going to have to put that beer down, guys, and you're going to have to get into the game. We need you desperately, men. We need you desperately in the game.
I've had probably 50 or 60 Saturday afternoons over the last 3 or 4 years with a bullhorn or the PA system and just lighting up the Democrats. But probably one of the most fun times I did. There was a couple of one lady runs the thing. She's a evolutionary professor from Kenyon College, and everybody knows her around here. She even gets the pulpit in the gay church sometimes to speak on evolution. But she wrote a book. Her name's Joan, Joan, Joan. And she posts all this stuff with their signs up every Saturday that they have, pictures. She wrote a book on how to have sex with an alien. So I go over, and I always get a chance to go over and stand right beside her and talk to her, but she will not say one word to me. I've probably spoke to her 30, 40 times. Not one word. She will not say nothing. So I got free reign. I can just go on and on and on. She don't say nothing back to me. She hates me. And I'll stand right beside her and say, "Joan, you need Jesus. Joan, what are you going to do when you face Jesus someday? You are going to be horrified." And so I asked her, I said, "Joan, let me ask you a question." I said, "You wrote that book on how to have sex with aliens. So let me ask you this question. Do aliens get abortions?" Oh my goodness. She looked at me like she had a gun. She would have shot me. I said, "Just answer me, Joan.
Great question.
Do aliens have abortions?" I'm just curious. I said, "I've never read your book, but."
Great question.
One time, another time, it was funny. I just lit them up. They all do 30 minutes every weekend since Trump first got elected. When he come down that staircase, that elevator, they have been there every Saturday for 30 minutes, never missed a Saturday. Rain, snow, cold, hot. They never miss. They are dedicated. And usually 20 to 30 of them or whatever. So one day they're up there, there's about 50 or 60 of them. And they would always go to the other side of the square. At time to quit, Joan would round them up, picture time, and then a guy would get his guitar out and he'd sing. So me and Ricky were up on top of the war wagon on that van. I had a bullhorn up there. They were singing. We never knew what they sung. I said, Ricky, listen. I said, what are they singing? And we listened real close and I could hear them. They were singing, this land is your land. This land is my land. So I was like, hey, let me tell you something, people. This land is not yours. And I went into it about God owns all the hills and the sheep. I said, but here's a song I got for you. This could be your theme song. And I pulled that bullhorn up and I cupped my hands around that bullhorn and I started a little tune. I'm on the highway to hell. I'm singing this. Ricky about fell off the war wagon laughing. Oh, they were so stinking mad.
Folks, not everybody out there is like JC, okay? Not everybody's out there like him, but
you could be.
That's right, you could be. That's a great point. Hey, we're going to close this out, hour-long program today. This is meant to stimulate you to do something, and we really need you in the game. The enemy's in the game. They hate us. They hate conservatives. They hate folks that would like to adhere to natural laws of nature. Nature's God, and that's how things work out, folks. If listen again, it is all human man intensive. Men, women, human men and women intensive. That's what this is about. You can build the greatest race car in the world, but it depends on who's driving it, doesn't it?
Boom.
Who's throwing the quarterback? Who's throwing the quarterback? Throwing the ball? I appreciate your time. I'm going to leave you with this from William Fetter. The country is controlled by laws. Laws are controlled by politicians. Politicians are controlled by voters. Voters are controlled by public opinion. Public opinion is controlled by the media and the educational institution. So whoever controls the media and education controls the country. He who controls the information controls the world. Let me see if I can find a closing here. Yeah. Oh, where's my clothes? Where's my clothes? Somewhere up there. Just give it that one.